What are the insights you gained from the business analysis?
When Mr. Ron came from the consulting firm and he went and done the first analysis of my company, he pointed out several issues that I knew that I had, and many more that I knew I had no idea that was going on in the company. You know, some shortfalls, things that were actually costing the company money, and I was just blown away by just the few days that he was in here and everything that he had, the whole snapshot of the company. I mean, he just. It's like he'd been working here just forever. He knew everything that was going on, and I was just awed by it. And I had been praying because I needed some help. And when I told Ron, he was a godsend, and I was excited about getting the consulting firm in to help me. And it's just it was the best thing that I ever done, and I would recommend this to anybody.
How did our consultants help you improve your business operations?
I think the first thing they came in and did was showed us dividing the company into three parts for us: sales, admin, and operations, and what to be looking for in those three things, those three areas, what to be measuring in those three areas, and how to know what's going on in your company from a dashboard level. Rather than having to go get all of the information from all of those areas and having that information come to you from your employees, and have a pulse on your business and an accurate pulse on your business, which having two owners here was very beneficial because we were both getting the same information at the same time, rather than me presenting it to him or him presenting it to me, and that was a key thing for us to be able to look at our business differently than my father did, differently than the way he did with entrepreneurial eyes and taking the pulse of the business like he did. That process was good for him. It worked for him. It didn't work for where we are today. It didn't work with our structure of having two owners and having to have both of us be equally informed on what was going on. And so the sales piece, the admin piece, and the operations piece also really helped us drill down in issues and compartmentalize what's going on in the company and what needs the most attention now, what needs fixed and what's not a problem, but what to watch for, and seeing the fix one bottleneck. We've already felt this, fixing one bottleneck and watching it shift to another, and realizing that that's normal and that we are constantly at the controls of that dashboard.
How did you benefit from the financial reporting system our consultants put in place for you?
The weekly reporting that we now have in place, not only from a financial perspective, but also through our cash flow reporting, has allowed us to become more proactive in managing our projects individually. We are becoming more proactive in that we can see when a project could potentially be going off the rails, and we can make the adjustments at the time with as little financial impact as possible, as opposed to waiting until the end of the project and then having to fix the problem.
How did you benefit from the financial reporting system our consultants put in place for you?
Well, before the consultants came, we reported results, and our financial reporting was very backward-looking. There was no advance planning. We created an actionable budget that we could review every month, and we had a plan of what our expenses should be. So we could look at it at the monthly meeting and see, is an expense out of line, identify if there's a problem, and take corrective action to ensure that we get the profit we need every month, and especially, building up to the end of the year. We also used that budget to semi-annually look at it to see if we're on track and if there are any adjustments needed to, again, be sure we get the profit we need at the end of the year.
We have benefited tremendously from the financial reporting. Prior to the reports being put in place, we did not have a good understanding of where our costs were higher than they should be, where the manpower was higher than it should be, and what the overall sales were and the resulting net profit. Because of the financial reporting and the comprehensiveness of it, we have been able to actually exceed our 5-year objective in less than 2 years. And in a large part, it's because we have the proper financial tools to analyze the areas where we're not doing so good and the areas where we are doing good, and to employ the procedures that we use in the jobs that make us the most money.
How did our consultants help you meet the challenges of doing business in a difficult economy and get ready to grow your business in the future?
Well, in today's economy, the consultants have actually taught me to diversify it into other fields of my customer base I have now, to where there's other repairs I can do, not just another transmission part of it. Is that doing other repairs on there, I can get my invoicing up because I've already have a very good customer base already. To where, and without knowing that before, the consultants taught me to, you can raise your invoices up by doing these other small repairs, which diversifies, which makes more money, and I was really happy about that.
Alan, what would you say to a business owner who's considering using our analytical and consulting services to improve his business?
I would say you really should do it. You really should bring the consultants on board. They're going to be here with you, 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever it takes. They're going to help you set goals. They're going to help you set financial goals, production goals. They're going to look at all areas of your company. They're going to look at inventory management. They're going to look at your financial statements. They're going to look at production processes. They're going to look at sales and marketing. And they're really going to come back and they're going to help you put together a plan and a goal on how to obtain it. It's fantastic. I mean, it's expensive. Sure, it costs money, but that's relative. What you get, the value you get from that money it really will help change your business.
The best money you'll ever spend. It was much more expensive than I thought it would be. But the amount of profits that we have recaptured as a group and what they have taught us, some things almost so simplistic, why wouldn't I have thought of this on my own? We have kept money back within the company again. It has made us successful. It has made us a leader in the marketplace. We've empowered our people, and it has allowed us to grow our company.
Arthur, describe to me what your business was like before you brought in our team of business experts and how it has changed for the better today.
Well, before the consultants came, it was do the best you can and report the results and hope that the results are good. Today, it's plan what you're going to do, plan the profit you need, plan the sales you need to achieve that profit, plan the margin you need to achieve that profit, control the expenses to get that profit. It's all about planning and reaching or executing a plan and reaching a planned result instead of doing the best you can and hoping for the best. I'm much more comfortable with the way it's working today.
Tom, if you can imagine, a year ago, I was the president, the financial guy, I was the site superintendent, I even operated equipment here and there. And the structure that we have put into place and what we have been taught is how to become a more effective and efficient business, where my role, my focus is to run the business, not operate it, run the business.
Joel, what benefit did you get from this strategic tax planning for you and your business?
Well, Tom, of course, the biggest thing I was looking for was tax savings, and we achieved that goal. I think the analysis in the beginning was telling me about the bank of people, the professional people they had, tax consultants and tax lawyers, tax attorneys, that helped us develop, for my business, was a captive insurance company. We started one of those, and it became much more than saving a tax savings tool. It actually deferred some risk of our business that we have a lot of different risks that aren't insurable through conventional insurance companies, and it was just a great situation. We not only saved tax, deferred risk, increased our company's cash flow, deferred tax payments, and just a great situation for our company.
Joel, what would you say to a business owner who's considering using our strategic tax planning services?
Well, Tom, I think for me I wished I would have started 3 years earlier. I mean, the benefits I've got from the tax planning was amazing. As small business owners, we get so wrapped up in working in the business instead of on the business that we're tied up and we don't see all the big picture. So in this case, my business was extraordinary. It was growing at 25% a year. We were always in a cash flow crunch. Increased inventory, increased accounts receivable, increased tax liability. That's the benefit I had with the tax planning, was we lowered our tax liability substantially through the use of the captive insurance company. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I see with working with a national company like we did here over my local CPA that didn't have access to all these ideas. So we still use the local CPA, but the ideas that came from this company was just great.
When James Graff and his partner bought Graffs Turf Farm from his parents, they took over a growing business with a great reputation for quality turf for both commercial and residential applications because of the unique drainage characteristics of their riverbed-grown turf. In fact, Graffs Turf Farm made it all the way to the big leagues of turf growing by supplying the grass for Wrigley Field and Soldier Field in Chicago, Target Field in Minneapolis, the stadium for Notre Dame, and both Coors Field and the Broncos Stadium in Denver, as well as many other demanding sports clients. But James Graff soon realized that he needed more than prime turf to grow his business profitably in the future. So he brought in a team of business experts to ensure that he and his partner would continue to find themselves scoring points for the home team's bottom line. James, when you think back to that original analysis, what insight did you get?
Well, Marty and I had purchased the company from my parents. We made an investment, and we knew that investment needed to be producing more income and be producing at its full potential. Secondly, having a sale behind us, and what's done is done, having brought to light that maybe on the path we were on, it was forecasted maybe we couldn't afford the purchase that had happened, which was a little bit scary. But lastly, realizing we needed to get our owners out of the tasks of the day and focused on the business of the business and see the business grow.
How did our consultants help you improve your business operations?
I think the first thing they came in and did was showed us dividing the company into three parts for us: sales, admin, and operations, and what to be looking for in those three things, those three areas, what to be measuring in those three areas, and how to know what's going on in your company from a dashboard level, rather than having to go get all of the information from all of those areas and having that information come to you from your employees and have a pulse on your business and an accurate pulse on your business, which having two owners here was very beneficial because we were both getting the same information at the same time, rather than me presenting it to him or him presenting it to me, and that was a key thing for us to be able to look at our business differently than my father did, differently than the way he did as with entrepreneurial eyes and taking the pulse of the business like he did. That process was good for him. It worked for him. It didn't work for where we are today. It didn't work with our structure of having two owners and having to have both of us be equally informed on what was going on. And so the sales piece, the admin piece, and the operations piece also really helped us drill down in issues and compartmentalize what's going on in the company and what needs the most attention now, what needs fixed and what's not a problem, but what to watch for, and seeing the fix one bottleneck. We've already felt this, fixing one bottleneck and watching it shift to another, and realizing that that's normal and that we are constantly at the controls of that dashboard.
James, how did our consultants help you improve the productivity of your employees?
The consultants came in and engaged our employees. They asked them questions and taught us how to ask questions and to get them involved in the processes that needed to be spelled out and documented to make the company run more successful. The processes that are in place that we can plug anybody into and make sure that our brand is being delivered every day like it needs to be delivered. And the employees have responded to that. They love giving their input, and they love seeing the result of that, and that their ideas matter, and that we've implemented some of their ideas and continue to do so. They like having the buy-in, and they're rewarded for it. Our performance-based pay program that we put in place has been well received. The employees enjoy having some control, having some some control over what they can earn instead of what they're giving. We hated Christmas time. We hated acting like Henry VIII and handing out money at the end of the year based on what we thought everybody would be worth. And it's nice to have that gone. The performance-based pay program is part of our benefit package that we give to existing employees and incoming employees. And when their benefit package is rolled out, including insurance and other benefits, we also are able to show them we have a performance-based pay in addition to your base pay, and they're excited about it. They see what it can return, and they see what we can, what kind of investment they make into the farm and what they'll get back for that.
How did you benefit from the financial reporting system our consultants put in place for you?
Well, I think the information coming to us every week has been a huge benefit for my business partner and I to be able to sit and analyze consistent information on a weekly basis, something that we had not been doing in the past, something that has probably not been done in the past in our company. The budgets that are coming to us on a monthly basis and where we're at, and being able to analyze those have been very helpful. I know we've struggled with budgets in the past and having them be a real component of our business, and what do they look like and how do you manage them, and taking the beast out of the budget and having it be a tool instead of a hindrance has been very important. In addition, everybody knows what their expectations are. They close out their work every week. They know their work commences and must be passed to the next, and that work commences and must be passed to the next. And eventually it's getting to Marty and I in very concise information that we can look at it, we can see where the red lights are and go address those things. And we can also see where the green lights are and say, go back to those individuals and say, you're doing a fantastic job. And know that we can believe the information. And we still are still working on how we verify those types of things without going and digging in the back door ourselves. But it's been extremely helpful to have that kind of weekly communication coming to us. I think the employees like the accountability. They want to be able to show their work. Here's what's been done. And it has created a more stable environment of when do we communicate, how do we communicate, and what information do I expect out of you. And all the way around, it's improved our culture.
How did our consultants help you get ready to grow your business in the future?
Well, the consultants helped us stop from growing foolishly, actually. We had rolled out the idea to them of a second company and had some grand plans up our sleeve, and they responded with, it's going to be okay if you start that second company, but in the current state you have your company in right now, you need to be prepared to choose which one's going to fail. That wasn't really what we wanted to hear, but it's what we needed to hear. And we know now that the second company will come in time. The growth of our current company will come in time, but there's some pieces that must be put in place foundationally before those other two things can happen. And we can go into growth very confidently, not hoping it's going to work, but knowing it's going to work.
James, what would you say to a business owner who's considering using our analytical and consulting services to improve his business?
Well, the first thing they're probably looking at is what we looked at, the potential cost of a project. While we thought that cost initially was just crazy and that we couldn't afford to do that. What we found out is we couldn't afford not to do it. And in the end now, after our project and seeing what the result has been, it's been well worth the value. The one thing that's unique is you do put yourself in a little bit of on an island after you've finished a consulting project, because you think differently, you talk differently, you process differently. You're maybe even a little more critical looking at businesses around you and going, geez, if you only knew and what their business could be if you plugged yourself into their operation. And that's been one thing that's been good for us but hard for us, is that it's tough to talk about our businesses among colleagues that have not gone through a consulting process as rigorous as this and as priceless as this. Just to be able to explain to them what you've gone through, why you think the way you think now. Sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect there, but that's what makes the separation.
Describe to me what your business was like before you brought in our team of business experts, and how it has changed for the better today.
Well, I can say now we're driving our company. Before, we were riding our company. And there's a big difference between that. How we operate every single day, the decisions that we were making. Before, we had made some terrible production decisions, shrinking back because of fear of the economy, reduced sales, and basically have eliminated the economy out of our company. The economy was a bad excuse. We still have sales. Our product is still being sold. We need to still go to the market and get our share, and we have expectations out of this company now. Before, we were sitting there waiting to see how the company was going to do. Now we're planning what the company is going to do, and the difference is substantial.